I think I understand where you're coming from on that thought. I just think that there may be a chance, and maybe that's not necessarily the case here, but there might be a chance you're just a little too much of a perfectionist, and you kind of are letting it slip by you.
Really?
I think maybe you're so much of a perfectionist that nothing is gonna ever seem right to you as far as this goes, and
you know what's so funny
and
is
you
that,
could be missing the deal.
Well, you know what with me is, if my hands are on, you gotta realize, look at the songs that these girls put out. I mean, really, they were gems, man. That's what I'm competing with. So yeah, do I get intimidated? Yeah, I get intimidated.
No,
with that.
I understand that. I'm just saying because I know a couple different artists out here on the West Coast that they've been like recording stuff for years and years, but the producer just refuses to put it out because it doesn't think it's ready. And in that time, they're losing their fan base because, and I'm not saying that's the case with Angel,
Right,
Susie,
no,
or
I
Lizette.
understand.
I'm just saying that it's not necessarily an isolated incident where producers they're so much of a perfectionist that they don't think anything's ever going to be right, and
Right.
they just don't want to take that chance. So
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, man, you could be right. Really, you could be right. You could be right. I might have to take that song. I think if I find the right producer, I've sent it to Victor Franco. I've sent it to Carlos Berrios. Who else did I send it to? There was a few other people that I sent it to. It just, I don't know, it just wasn't, it wasn't clicking for me, man. It just, the song, I wrote the song. I thought the song was great. It wasn't clicking.
right,
Well,
So
I might have to revisit that whole situation, man. Hey, you tell that to Angel. She goes, I've been telling him that. I've been telling him that for years. She's the one that found the song. It was in my file cabinet. She picked it up one day, and she's reading the words. And she's like, who wrote this?
right.
I said, I wrote that. I wrote that a while ago. I said, she goes, how does it go? And I sang it for her. She goes, oh, my God. She goes, this is a great song. She goes, what you doing with it? I said, well, nothing. I said, it's in the file cabinet,
Well, yeah. I mean, see that's like when you played for me when we were driving from San Jose to Monterey, and you were playing for me, and I was like thinking in my head, I was like, why aren't you moving on this? I mean,
you might have a point, man. You might have
push
what
it through.
I'm not a producer, man. I stayed. I got out of the whole production game many years ago. I mean, I don't have the patience to sit in a studio anymore. But maybe I just need to. You might have pulled it up, and if that's the case, man, I'll make sure you get a big shout out for it.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
I might have to revisit it. I might have to send. I actually have it. I have it here. I actually was looking at it the other day,
Right.
I have a couple versions of it, and I probably just have to put it in somebody else's hands and see if someone can do some magic.
There you go. There you go. Once again, Freestyle for Life is available on Amazon.com for download for your Kindle and your other reading devices, right? It's not just for Kindle. It's for other reading applications, right?
Right.
And go out, definitely check that out. One last question before I let you go, and this is like very, I guess this would be like, culturally relevant or whatnot, but we coming up on the 10-year anniversary of September 11th. Being a native New Yorker, what were your memories of that day?
Ooh, man, September 11th. Just so you know, the time that the plane struck the buildings, I have a whole blog on this. I was supposed to be in that building. Okay?
Right.
I flew in from Dallas with little Susie the night before. We flew in on American Airlines. We flew in, I got in like 11 p.m. Okay? We did a show in Dallas, and I went home the next morning. Whenever I did a show, I had to deposit the money in the bank. So, because I picked up cash.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wait the next day after the show, that following, Monday or Tuesday, whatever the day was.
It was a Tuesday.
And I waited for the bank to open, which opened at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at Metropolitan at that time. And I went to the bank, and then when I went back to the house to go get my bags, I saw the news. And I said, what? And I went up on my roof, and I lived in Queens at that time, and I can actually see the sky, and I could see the buildings, and I could see the first one, on fire, the smoke everywhere. I was literally on the 6th floor, which was one floor down from the roof. I ran down, looked on the news so I can hear what's going on, And just while watching the news, I'm watching the news when the other plane hits. Boom! I ran back upstairs, and I see the other building. So I was up and down watching the news, going up and seeing it in person, watching the news. But I worked in Metropolitan Records, which was in New Jersey. I had to take the PATH train every single morning.
Wait, and those who don't know, the PATH train leaves from right underneath where the World Trade Center was.
Right. I took the train. I think it was I took the EODF train to the World Trade Center stop. You get off there, and then you go downstairs, take the escalator down even further. Mm-hmm. And what I used to do is there was this little coffee shop there. I used to go in there and get me a bagel, cup of coffee, maybe a muffin, and then I used to take that whole thing and go sit on the platform underneath. That place there was flooded. I was usually in that spot right there about 9 a.m. That's if I'm sitting there with my coffee. At 9 a.m., I think my train came at 9:20. Mm-hmm. So I would have been in that building, man. I would have been in that building.
It's crazy,
and
man.
It's crazy. When I think about it, I'm like, it's crazy. So, but I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is that for years, I remember I worked in Metro for 6 years. For years, I used to be in the train with all these people that got off in that same stop with me.
Right.
I used to talk to them. I didn't know them. They weren't my friends, but, talk about this, talk about that. Things happen in the train, bump into this, excuse me. You're sitting there in a chair, you're staring at one, staring at a girl, staring at some guy who looks crazy. And you're looking at all these different people because, if you don't have a newspaper, you're never reading, you're staring at everybody. And I'm thinking after that happened, I said, man, how many of these people did I sit there and stare at,
No, I hear you, man.
That freaking perished in that during that time,
It's definitely something, man. It's definitely something.
Yeah,
but
yeah, and it was a different world, man. It was a different world after that, and I had just had my daughter. She was only 4 months old, I think.
Right.
I think she was May, June, July, August, September. She was 5 months old, and I thought this was it. And I was so nervous with her. I'm like, my gosh, I just had her, and we're gonna be taken out now. This ain't fair. This ain't right.
It's crazy, man.
So
it's crazy. Well, hey, man, again, Freestyle for Life is available on Amazon.com. It's for your Kindle and your other reading devices. I'm not even sure what any of the other reading devices are, but
people could read it on their BlackBerries. They could read it on their iPhones, their Androids, their PC, the Mac, the iPad, the iPod.
Right.
You can read it on anything,
at
least for now.
And very soon you'll be able to put it in your hands and read it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it'll be a little bit more expensive. It won't be 99 cents. It costs a little bit more money to make.
Right. If people want to get in touch direct, how do they do that with you?
Always Facebook, Latif Mercado. Facebook is great. I was one of the first people I knew had a Facebook page, and I just started seeing the value of it within the last year.
Right.
Latif Mercado on Facebook, and I'm there.
I think it's a lot easier to regulate than it is MySpace. Although MySpace is still a great spot too, people just don't know how to use it.
I haven't been on that thing for years. I could have porno on mine and not even know it. I'm telling you, I haven't been on it.
Well, that's all. Well, you can blame me for that because that's all the stuff I put on your page. But anyway, man. Hey, man, it was great talking to you.
Same here, brother.
Of course, I'm going to be putting this show up for download in a couple days, so you'll be able to download this entire interview, and I'll send you direct link too, so you can get it for your archives. I know you like having archives.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
And of course, give our best to Angel. I know she's probably chewing on some tacos right now or something. Some Jack in the Box
we just ate dinner
tacos.
a little while ago, but she good. A big shout out, man, to Salinas, man. We love that. We love that city, man.
Absolutely, man. You guys got to come back.
And now
man.
with SAL, man. I mean, they show a lot of love. So it's always been a great city for us.
Absolutely, man. You guys got to come back soon. We're gonna jump into some from Little Susie right now. And again, man, stay on the line. I'll talk to you real quick off air. But thanks, man.
Thank you, brother.
It's 90.9 Radio Bilingue.